My son Noah had stopped asking whether Grandma was coming to his birthday. That hurt more than anything. When he was 4, he used to stand by the window in his little blue shirt, watching every car that turned onto our street. "Is Grandma here yet?" I would smile and say, "Not yet, buddy. She'll be here soon." He believed me. Children believe the people they love. At 5, he asked twice. At 6, he asked only once. By his 7th birthday, he didn't ask at all. He simply looked at the empty chair beside the cake and quietly said, "She's probably busy again." I smiled because I didn't want him to see how much those words hurt. I turned away and pretended to straighten the plates. My mother had never missed my birthday. Not once. When I was a child, she had stayed up until midnight to bake me a cake. When I turned 16, she decorated my room with balloons. When I graduated from college, she cried harder than I did. But somehow, she had missed every single one of Noah's birthdays. His first birthday was at my house. I had spent 2 weeks planning it. There were blue balloons everywhere, a giant number 1 beside his high chair, and a cake that was far too large for a 1-year-old. My mother called that morning. "I'm sorry, sweetheart. I have a terrible headache." I remember looking at the clock. "You're not coming?" "I don't think I can." Noah was sitting on the floor surrounded by wrapping paper. He didn't understand. He just smiled at me. I told Mom it was okay. It wasn't. His 2nd birthday was at a children's play center. She said my sister needed help. His 3rd was a Saturday barbecue. She said she already had plans. His 4th was dinosaur-themed. That one hurt the most. Noah had spent the entire morning talking about Grandma. "Do you think she'll like my dinosaur cake?" "Of course." "Do you think she'll play with me?" "I'm sure she will. She promised she would come." She never showed. No explanation. No phone call. Nothing. I remember standing in the driveway after everyone left, holding the unopened gift she had mailed instead of bringing herself. Noah was asleep inside. I stared at that box for a long time. I wanted to be angry. Instead, I was just tired. By the time Noah turned 7, I stopped inviting her. Not because I hated her. Because I couldn't keep watching my son wait for someone who never came. That year, I planned the party without telling her. It was small. Just Noah, a few school friends, my sister Emily, and some neighbors. Noah wanted a space theme. So I covered the living room in silver stars. I hung paper planets from the ceiling. I taped glowing stars to the walls. I even built a cardboard rocket in the corner of the living room. The cake had a little rocket ship sitting on top. When Noah woke up, he ran downstairs wearing pajamas covered in planets. "Dad." I turned around. "Happy birthday, astronaut." He jumped into my arms. "Is Aunt Emily coming?" "Of course." He smiled. Then he hesitated. "Grandma." I looked at him. He wasn't asking hopefully anymore. He was asking carefully, as if he had already prepared himself for the answer. "No, buddy." He nodded. "Okay." Then, almost immediately, he smiled again. "Can I open my present?" "Absolutely." I handed him a wrapped box. He tore into it. "Whoa, a new telescope." His eyes became enormous. "Dad, is this mine?" "No, I bought it for the neighbor." He stared at me. I laughed. "Of course it's yours." He hugged me so tightly that I almost lost my balance. For the next 2 hours, he was happy. He played games. He chased balloons. He wore a cardboard astronaut helmet. His friends ran around the house pretending the living room was Mars. At one point, Noah stood on the sofa and announced, "I am Captain Noah." Everyone cheered. I laughed harder than I had in months. For a while, I forgot about my mother. Then Emily arrived carrying a huge bag of presents. "Happy birthday." Noah ran toward her. "Aunt Emily." She hugged him. "You're getting so big." "I have a telescope." I heard. "Dad says I'm going to be an astronaut." I smiled. I said he could try. Emily laughed. "You'd better invite me to the moon." "I will." She handed him another gift. He immediately began tearing it open. It was a small model spaceship. He gasped. "It's perfect." Emily smiled. "I'm glad. But I noticed something strange." She looked pale. Not just tired. Pale. I watched her sit down. "Are you okay?" She smiled. "I'm fine." "You don't look fine." "I haven't slept much." "Why?" "Work." I studied her face. She looked away. "Emily." "I'm okay." I let it go. I shouldn't have. About an hour later, she stood. "I'll go get ice cream." Noah shouted. "Get chocolate." Emily smiled. "Chocolate." "Got it." She walked toward the door. Then she paused. She looked back at Noah. There was something in her expression I couldn't understand. It almost looked like she was trying to memorize his face. "Happy birthday, Noah." He smiled. Thanks, Aunt Emily. She nodded. Then she left. 10 minutes later, my phone rang. I assumed it was her saying she couldn't find the ice cream shop. Instead, my mother's name appeared on the screen. I almost ignored it. Then I answered. Hello. Where are you? I frowned. I'm home. Is Noah there? Yes. My mother's voice was shaking. I need you to bring him to the hospital. My stomach dropped. What? Your sister's there. I stood up so quickly that the chair scraped across the floor. What happened? I can't explain over the phone. Mom, what happened? Just come. Is she hurt? Silence. Mom. She began crying. Please. Then she hung up. I stared at the phone. For a few seconds, I couldn't move. Then I looked at Noah. He was sitting on the floor surrounded by wrapping paper. Daddy. I forced myself to breathe. Put your shoes on. Why? We need to go see Aunt Emily. His smile disappeared. Is she okay? I don't know. He immediately stood. Did she get hurt? I don't know, buddy. Is she coming back? I couldn't answer. We drove to the hospital. The entire way, Noah was silent. He kept looking out the window. I kept gripping the steering wheel. My mind replayed the moment Emily had looked at him before leaving. That strange expression. That goodbye. I should have known. When we arrived, my mother was standing in the hallway. She looked completely broken. Her hair was messy. Her eyes were red. I had never seen my mother like that. Mom, what happened? She walked toward me. Then she hugged me. I pushed her back gently. Tell me. She looked at Noah. Then she looked at me. I need to tell you the truth. What truth? She started crying again. I've been lying to you. My heart began pounding. About what? She couldn't speak. Mom. Finally, she whispered. Emily has been sick. How sick? She looked at the emergency room doors. Very sick. I felt the blood drain from my face. What does that mean? My mother covered her mouth. She has cancer. Everything inside me stopped. I stared at the emergency room. What? She didn't want you to know. Why? Because she was afraid. Afraid of what? My mother's voice broke. She didn't want Noah to see her like this. I looked at my son. He was standing a few feet away, listening. Then why did you keep missing his birthdays? My mother looked at me. I could see guilt in her eyes. Because... She couldn't finish. Because what? Because Emily's treatments were scheduled around those dates. I shook my head. That doesn't explain everything. My mother finally looked directly at me. She was losing her hair. I said nothing. She was losing weight. Still nothing. She didn't want Noah to remember her as the sick aunt in the hospital. I felt tears burn my eyes. So you lied to me? Yes. You let me believe you didn't care about him. Yes. You let me think you were choosing everything else over your grandson. My mother began sobbing. I know. I stepped away. For 7 years, I had been angry. 7 years of birthdays. 7 years of unanswered questions. 7 years of watching my son learn not to expect his grandmother. And now I was standing in a hospital hallway realizing that every memory I had built around her absence might have been wrong. Then the emergency room doors opened. A doctor stepped out. Family of Emily Carter? My mother immediately stood. Yes. The doctor looked at us. She is stable. My mother covered her face and cried with relief. I closed my eyes. Noah grabbed my hand. Dad. I looked down. Can I see Aunt Emily? I swallowed. I don't know. The doctor looked at Noah. She keeps asking for her nephew. Noah's eyes widened. Me? Yes. He looked at me. Can I go? I nodded. We walked into the room together. Emily was lying beneath a white blanket. Her face looked thinner. Her hair was almost completely gone. Noah stopped at the doorway. For one terrible second, I thought he would be frightened. Then Emily smiled. Hey, birthday boy. Noah slowly walked toward her. You're sick. Emily nodded. A little. Is that why you missed my birthdays? Emily's eyes filled with tears. Yes. Noah looked confused. But Dad said you were busy. I was. With being sick? Emily nodded. He climbed carefully onto the chair beside her. I saved you some cake. Emily covered her mouth. You did? Yes. He smiled. It's chocolate. She laughed through her tears. I remember. Noah reached for her hand. You can come to my birthday next year. Emily looked at him. I'll try. No. He shook his head. You have to. She laughed. I'll try very hard. I stood at the foot of the bed, unable to speak. Then Emily looked at me. There's something else you need to know. My heart tightened. What? She looked at Mom. Then back at me. I asked her not to tell you. I know. No. She shook her head. That isn't the whole reason. What is? Emily took a shaky breath. I wasn't sick 7 years ago. I froze. What? I started treatment after Noah's second birthday. I looked at my mother. She lowered her head. Emily whispered. And the reason I was diagnosed so late, she started crying, was because Mom used the money she had saved for herself to pay for my treatment. I stared at my mother. Suddenly, the woman I thought had abandoned my son wasn't the woman standing in front of me. She was a mother who had spent years carrying a secret so heavy that it had cost her the love and trust of her own child. And now I had to decide whether I could forgive her for protecting my sister, while letting me believe the worst about her.